Hey everybody, welcome back. We are here live for another Book of Boba Fett watch party and after show. This is episode 4, chapter 4, coming up tonight. And yeah, we're ready to talk about it, ready to start all the fun and get going with whatever we're gonna do tonight. So
Once again, it is me, the J to the E to the double F Ray. I'm Jeffrey Harris, and the honor and pleasure is all Mike's, I'm sure. Malik, sorry you can't be with us tonight, but you are here with us in spirit. Hope you're doing well with your move and everything. We love you, Malik, so best of luck.
definitely, it's kind of different when it's just me and you. But hey, we did this for for this week in pro wrestling, which we're hoping will come back soon, and I think we're gonna have to probably next week.
So you've been doing some big stuff lately. You had some great interviews for the Go Big
Mhm.
show.
Yeah.
For Scream, which
Mhm.
was number 1 at the box office over the weekend, beating
Yep.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Did way better than the last Scream movie that was released 10 years ago. So they
Mhm.
really brought back that franchise and style. You interviewed Jenna Ortega, who's
Yep.
one of the lead girls,
Mhm.
and Melissa Barrera, right?
No, we didn't talk to
Oh,
Melissa
not
this
Barrera.
time,
Who
but
else did you talk
I
to?
did message her though to wish her
Okay.
congrats on the movie
Did you
release.
talk to her for Pacific Heights, maybe?
No, I talked to her for was it not In the Heights.
You've
It was for
interviewed her before, though,
for
haven't
an
you?
independent film that came out
Okay.
last summer.
Um,
Yeah.
but Cody Rhodes, and who else for Go Big Show? Jenna Nettles?
Yeah, Jennifer Nettles.
Jennifer Nettles.
Yeah,
Um,
it hasn't been bad. I mean, we're not
look,
getting as much as we
Cody
normally get.
Rhodes doesn't offer a lot of exclusive interviews
Mhm.
to a lot of people, and now, and now there's this whole story where he's not even under contract with AEW right now. So we have no idea what's going on with him. So that's pretty momentous that you got to have a one-on-one chat with Cody for
Yeah.
his series.
Exactly, and
So
I'm
pretty
hoping that we
interesting.
get to talk to somebody for the Book of Boba Fett sometime within the next couple weeks or so, because we're getting close to the end of the season.
So we're kind of at the midway point now. So I think
Yeah.
we're on 7 episodes. So tonight will be episode 4. So let me
Hmm.
bring up. So last week we had Boba Fett. He's kind of making some new allies
Hmm.
with the cyborg gang, including who is the
Well, besides that special
not
gift, you
Sophie
getting
Thatcher, I think. Yeah, Sophie Thatcher. So
hmm
she's kind of like that leader of that cyborg gang with the hover Vespas. Um, Apparently the Hutts are leaving Tatooine because there's like another crime syndicate that we think might be the Pikes who are trying to take over, and now the Pikes have arrived on Masespa, and it looks like there's an all-out gang war brewing. So Boba Fett was given a Rancor. We had Danny Trejo and Stephen Root making guest appearances, so there's a high likelihood we'll be seeing them again. So that's very exciting. There's a lot going on. I don't think now look, not to trash Hawkeye. I kind of feel like there are multiple subplots here, but I kind of feel like they haven't bit off too much more than they could chew like they did with Hawkeye.
Yeah, I
Because I
agree.
feel like they're managing. I feel like they're kind of what they have so far. I feel like they're managing it.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree,
Okay.
and I
Now,
kind of could get where they're going with it. Where
okay, so here's my
Hawkeye,
question. The cyborg gang, we talked about the card chase last week. We didn't really
yeah,
like it.
yeah.
But a lot of people are complaining about the cyborgs and the Vespas and they're Power Rangers. What do you
Oh
think about
no, I
that?
the one I've been seeing is was it Biff's gang in the second Back to the Future?
Right. Back to the Future Part 2.
Mhm.
But why like did we not like Back to the Future Part 2? Like, do we not love that movie?
Well, I like it. I love it. I didn't see nothing wrong with the gang. I think my only problem with it
Okay.
was that the visual effects looked a little wonky.
It looked off. it didn't
Yeah,
really look
yeah.
convincing,
Like, I
and it
didn't have a
didn't
problem with, any of the whole gang and them writing. It's just that the visual effects look off. That was my
well,
biggest complaint.
like, you got a better sense of scale and weight, I think, from the train heist, or,
Right,
in the second episode, right? Wouldn't you
right.
agree?
I
I
agree.
think that was much better executed, and I think it looked better. This one, something looked off about, like, it didn't really look convincing. And what do they call that set they shoot in? Is it called the volume?
Yeah, I think it's called that.
I think that's how Star Wars Explained referred to it. So it didn't come off looking all that strong to me. Now, I know for a fact that Robert Rodriguez is a Power Rangers fan, so it wouldn't surprise me if like the gang is sort of like
Mhm.
inspired by the Power Rangers and giving them multicolored kind of bikes like that.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me. And that doesn't bother me either, because
Mhm,
one, I like Power Rangers, and two, I know for a fact that executive producer Robert Rodriguez is a big Power Rangers fan.
mhm.
It was many years ago. I saw a Robert Rodriguez panel, um, and you know who was the moderator for this panel was Cheech Marin.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I want to say this was at LA Film Festival,
Mhm.
and Cheech Marin and Rodriguez were basically talking about how, despite him having like a background with sort of like really heavily adult subject matter, that Rodriguez likes making, a lot of family and kid oriented projects.
Mhm.
And, he talked about, why he likes shooting in Austin, and having his kids and his family around and working with his kids. And he also talked about Power Rangers, and he basically broke down why kids like Power Rangers and why it works so well for kids, and how Power Rangers is empowering to kids. So I definitely know from that talk with Cheech Marin that, like, Rodriguez likes Power Rangers, and he likes empowering like young kid like characters.
Yeah.
You can see it with the Spy Kids films, and I think we're getting a little taste of that with the Cyborg Gang here.
Mhm. I agree.
But
And
do
I
you,
don't think they
yeah.
used the volume in that at all. I think that was just visual effects after shots.
E
The
Either way,
standing
it didn't
it
look
just
good.
didn't look wonky. But yeah, I agree. I think that's what he's trying to do, and I think that's what he's looking to use them for.
Mhm.
Um,
They're not even the
but
main characters. They're
yeah,
Boba's, like,
exactly.
Boba is trying to build he's trying to build a crime family here,
Mhm.
right? That's
Right,
what he's doing.
and he
He's
wants
trying to
to
find
get
allies he
modern.
can trust.
Yeah, and he's gonna get modern guys, younger guys. Why is he gonna get a bunch of old guys to be
Right.
his guard and his backup? So it's like it makes sense. Uh, the one thing
And
I did love,
he's trying to earn their respect. Like, that's
yeah,
why he's like, he gives his Gamorrean guard, one of whom is UFC Hall of Famer Frank Trigg, like, let him
mhm,
use the bacta tank.
yeah,
He's trying to rule by respect, not fear. But
mhm,
go ahead.
yeah, exactly. But the one thing I did love of last week's episode though was Danny Trejo, which I knew for some strange reason I had a feeling he would show up.
Of course.
I
And
mean, Robert Rodriguez is always
it
gonna
was
put
the
that
second
effort.
episode Rodriguez directed for this
And I
season.
loved a lot of the things saying, especially Danny Trejo posted a picture, and the picture that we used for
Yep.
today's intro, Danny Trejo goes machetes and spade finally gets the spade.
That's great. Did he post that on Instagram or
It
something?
was on Twitter, and I think it may have
Okay.
been on Instagram as well as all his other social channels. But that was
Hey,
like
good
the
for
best
Danny Trejo, man. The kind he has lived the life, and
part.
he's kind
Exactly.
of and he's become like a very like positive influence. So good for him.
Exactly. I want to try and see if we can bring out that picture again because it's a
Yeah,
pretty
I want
awesome
to.
picture. Let me bring that up right now.
And well, one we can definitely show is the character posters.
Hmm.
So
Definitely.
why don't I send you the link for that, and
Give
we
me
can
that as
show that in
well.
the
I'm gonna
chat.
share the first picture,
Here we go. So I sent you.
and also
We
too.
don't
Let me.
even know this character's name yet, but he's the
Mhm.
Ranker trainer. Here
Yeah,
I found it.
there we go. And before we continue on, everybody who's listening, jumping in, if you want to comment, don't forget to subscribe. You have to subscribe to the MUSE TV channel in order to comment, in order to be a part of the conversation. So don't forget to subscribe. And second, the way we do this tonight, before we move on further, is that coming around in the next 10 minutes when the show becomes live around 11:50, 11:51, we are going to shut everything down. We're going to mute our mics, close the videos out, and then we're going to watch the episode. We're all going to watch it together. We're still working on the whole share watch party thing with Disney Plus. It's a little complicated because it has to deal with a phone and Apple TV. But as soon as the episode is over, immediately as the episode is over, we come back and we start discussing what the episode is about, and we start talking about it. And we want you to come back, be a part of it, enjoy, make your comments, say what you need to say, and really put it out there. So yeah, here is the share that Danny Trejo posted.
You know what I like the most about this? They actually built like a practical sort of piece of the Rancor, like mainly the head and like the front part. But they actually built this practical like animatronic Rancor to use on set. So it looked definite like it looked partly CG last week, but you could tell that some of that was genuinely on set. So I like that we get to see this. And what a great photo, man.
Oh, it really is.
Tamar Morrison and Danny Trejo having fun on set together, just having a great time. How can you not love that, you know?
Exactly. And let me pull up the poster that they did for him, and they released
What I want though is I want a name for Stephen Root's character and Danny Trejo's character, because I don't think they said it on screen, and if they did, I missed it. But they didn't say the name of the characters in the credits.
No, they didn't. And there's the
he doesn't even have a name on the but he gets his own character poster. Now let's find the Stephen Root. So Stephen Root is like a water merchant in Mos Espa, and I don't think he's on Boba Fett's side. I think he would turn on him for the Pikes, you know?
I think he would, especially after what happened with the gang,
with the kids.
Yeah, I think he would change. He would turn his back on him.
And here's another one. Here's another character. So these were all, I think, released earlier this week. So January 17th, they put out these new character posters. And I like that after each episode, we're getting new character posters of the new characters for the show. But
there we go.
Something they've mentioned a couple times is that Tatooine used to have water on it.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So I wonder what's going on there, and if that's something we're going to hear more about in the future.
I don't think they're going to explore it in this one, but you may see it in something coming up in the future.
You know what that kind of reminds me of?
Which one? This one?
No, all the stuff about Tatooine and the water.
What?
Dune.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I mean, and then what do the Tusken Raiders? What do the Tuskens remind you of?
Oh yeah, the
Fremen.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, let's be honest. Star Wars is based off of a lot of different things, from Kurosawa to
Flash Gordon
to even Lord of the Rings in some aspects of.
But yeah, I think Lucas knew how to borrow or get good inspiration, so to speak, from some very good material.
I agree.
Shall we say?
I agree.
But yeah, I think people have said before how what was the Kurosawa film that A New Hope is sort of a lot like? What is that?
What it was.
The Hidden Fortress. The Hidden Fortress. 1958. So, but a lot of filmmakers sort of in that time period in the 70s were taking inspiration from Kurosawa, from avant-garde European filmmakers and stuff like that. So it wasn't like everyone was doing that at the time. It wasn't just George Lucas.
Exactly. exactly.
Okay.
But well, let's run our help support thing because we're getting close to
Oh yeah.
April. CinemaCon, it will be here in 4 months, and we're gonna be there, both of us, hopefully. And I've already
I
booked my
had
room, so we need to pay
I
for.
had a I had to go through a gauntlet last year. I hope let's just say I hope I don't have to go through a gauntlet again.
Exactly, and that's why
But
we're
who
having.
knows? Who
We have
knows with
Yeah, you have to run our support. If you're watching, great, because that's ad revenue. If you want to donate, hey, there's ways to donate and to be able to do that on YouTube, and you can do it directly through our Cash App. One of the two to help support because we will be in Las Vegas April 25th through the 28th.
yeah,
So yeah,
exciting.
I already booked my room for that week.
And
So
just so you know, since we're going to CinemaCon, just so everyone knows, last year, they premiered Ghostbusters Afterlife there. We saw Ghostbusters Afterlife. There was new footage for Mission Impossible. Well, not really for No Time to Die.
mhm,
A lot of we got to see the trailer premiere for The Matrix Resurrections. If you like that film, so
mhm.
it's very exciting, and it's coming up in April. So it'll
Yep.
be the last week of April. So hopefully the world is still spinning at that time. We're still
Well, we hope
here, and we'll be able to make it. So
we hope
yeah.
so. So after we could be able to be there and bring you some new stuff, especially hopefully this year we'll see some Star Wars stuff
Okay.
coming to the screen. So
So this week on Book of Boba Fett, last week I said I'm expecting the flashback narratives or the flashback subplots will continue through the whole season.
mhm,
So last week, since they kind of resolved Boba Fett with that Tuscan village, I'm
mhm.
expecting this week we'll see a flashback of him finding Fennec Shand, and maybe we'll see a bit more of his connection with Fennec. What
I
do you
think
think of
so.
that prediction?
It wouldn't shock me because I think we do need to see something like that, and how we do see a. We really don't see how Boba and Fennec know each other and how that relationship started and how they work together. So
Well,
I have to see
he
it.
found her body in the first season of Mandalorian, so we know that.
Well, yeah, but it
But I
has to
think
be more to it.
we'll see the aftermath of him finding her body and maybe nursing her back to health and giving her cybernetics and whatnot.
Mhm.
Um, but I think we'll learn why that Fennec, who's basically a cutthroat and an assassin herself, why she is so loyal to Boba
Yeah.
this season. So I think we'll see a bit of that. And what do you think about my prediction that we're going to see flashbacks for the whole season, for basically the rest of the episodes?
Mhm. Uh, Originally, I was hoping we wouldn't, but something tells me you may be right, and that we will see flashbacks the whole season. Maybe we probably won't see him in the last episode, but I have a
Hmm.
feeling you may be right on.
And I
You may be
think
right.
now that they've kind of had this sort of like vision quest and the
Mhm.
visions of Geonosis and his father in the slave one, I think all that's kind of going to continue. So all right, so
Yeah.
let's check on so nothing
Nothing yet from what the last time I checked.
okay, so it'll probably be up in a couple minutes. So, we're kind of at the final countdown. So,
Mhm.
all right, I like your setup there though. You got it right. It's right behind you. So
Exactly.
you can just swivel around and
And
just
but not for long though, because I'm thinking since after 2 years of
yeah.
doing this, I'm thinking we're gonna be doing this for a lot longer. So I think we're gonna have to rearrange and set up things a little bit
I
differently, and
think
actually build it into like a kind of like a makeshift live
yeah, sure.
video, which I was dreading because you know what? Don't get me wrong, everybody. I love working from home, but eventually it gets tiring, and I need to friggin'
All
go
right.
back.
Can you say what movie you saw tonight, by the way?
No, I can't.
You can't say it yet.
I can't say.
All right. Well, the movie I was talking about last week was Scream.
Mhm.
I didn't really like the movie. I think it had some cool ideas.
Mhm.
I felt like it was a bit too much of a rehash of the fourth one,
Mhm.
and I think All right, we are about ready to pick it up. It is 12:33 a.m. After midnight, on the West Coast. So it is 3:33 wherever you are on the East Coast. If you're joining us wherever, thank you. We're just waiting on Mike, who's probably finishing up and be here soon. We're going to be talking about episode 4 of the Book of Boba Fett. I'm trying to see if we can get a title here. I forget if they have the title at the end or what. Let's see here. So Kevin Tankeron directed this episode. Jon Favreau wrote this episode for chapter 4. I've been wondering what like Kevin Tankeron, he did that Mortal Kombat Legacy web series, so it's interesting. So we got more of the backstory between Boba Fett, how he earned Fennec Shand's loyalty, saved her life after she was almost killed in the first season of The Mandalorian, got her modifications, and then they stole back the Slave One, the gunship. All right. Quite an episode this week. So it looks like I was accurate on a couple of my predictions, right, Mike?
I think you were. So
Fennec, we got Fennec, Boba Fett meeting Fennec, finding Fennec, getting her cybernetic modifications. So I figured that's the route we were going. Yeah. So I'm guessing the next flashbacks will be maybe he's tracking down his armor. So he goes to Mos Pelgo. Maybe we're going to see Tim Oliphant as Cobb Vanth again. Yeah. And then I guess maybe we're going to see sort of like that part with the Mandalorian where he intersects with Mandalorian. But we got mainly this was all about the backstory with Fennec and Boba. So your thoughts?
I thought it was a good episode. I think I like the fact of how it's telling where he is and where he's at now, and how he is the way he is now. And I think that kind of is a good story to go off of.
He's tired of working for people who are going to get him killed, and he's going to start his own tribe. He's going to be the boss now. He's done, he's done taking orders that working for people that are going to get him killed. The director for this episode,
but also too, to be honest, when you really look at it, that now you see the importance of him being with Tusken Raiders.
Let's see. So this episode was directed by Kevin Tankeron, who's done Mortal Kombat Rebirth, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's done a lot of TV stuff. Jon Favreau wrote this episode. It was a good episode, I think. This is like the basic length I want for all the episodes. At least like it's 47 minutes with credits, but like I want us to get like a good 40, 42 minutes of story. And that's basically what we got here, I
agree. And I just don't like this fluctuation where you get a short episode, long episode, short episode, long episode.
I feel and I feel like that's what they've kind of been doing so far. So I don't know. Maybe there's an expense here. We got a cool heist this episode with Jabba's palace. So we got to see a lot more of the interior of Jabba's palace than we ever really got to see before. Yeah. That was really cool. They got the Slave One back, Boba Fett ship back. So that was a cool scene. Ming-Na got to fight a lot. She looked great in her fight scenes. Now, I thought when he went to the mod doctor, it was like, what? Did we get into Blade Runner? Did we suddenly enter into Blade Runner like we suddenly entered into Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
This week with with the techno music and the cyborgs and the mod doctor, it was like a cyberpunk film for a little bit. Yeah. What did you think of that?
Like it doesn't bother me because I think it reflects with the time and what the age would be and the advancements in different times.
No, I'm just saying it was like they entered into for a second there was like entering into Blade Runner. You know?
Yeah. I agree with you, but people are gonna start talking about it.
No, it didn't
Yeah,
bother me, but I was just like,
yeah.
okay, like here, this is like Blade Runner. This is like
Mhm.
cyberpunk style. We're seeing a bit like of a cyberpunk Blade Runner kind of thing in Star Wars, which
Yeah,
is like, it makes sense when you think about it.
yeah. To me, it doesn't bother me, and I think it makes sense. I think it goes with the story and everything that kind of where they want to move with it, and I'm cool with it. I think it worked out great, and I think there were great scenes. It's
Uh,
explained.
I thought the little flyover the Sarlacc pit was
Mhm.
like, come on, Boba, you already got swallowed by it once. Like, do you
Yes,
got
exactly.
they should have dumped the bomb. What is that bomb thing?
The Sonic, the what's
What do
it
they
called?
call that bomb? That bomb, the seismic bomb, the seismic charge. They
Yeah,
drop that in first. Drop that in first before you go poking around a freaking Sarlacc pit. Make sure it's dead. Double tap. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly.
It's like
Mhm.
it's. But I mean, good thing Fennec had some quick thinking there. But
No kidding.
um, I like the chemistry between Fennec
Mhm,
and Boba, and that she's like F- Boba Fett offered her
mhm.
like your debt is paid, and she's like, no, I'll stick around. So
Yeah,
I
and
like
I
that
think
kind of burgeoning relationship and the
yeah,
trust.
and I for some reason think that this was the last of the flashbacks.
I don't think so.
You
I
don't
think
think
we
so?
might see.
Because, like, he's done with his healing. So why would he have to go back into
Oh,
this back to tank?
I think. Well, what if he gets injured?
Well, if he gets injured, then he may go back, but
Yeah. But I kind of feel like I see the correlation, like, now that he's done with his healing and using the back to
Mhm,
tank, and we kinda
mhm,
caught up to the killing Bib Fortuna,
mhm.
but there might still be reasons to see other flashbacks, and they've maintained the flashbacks for, like, this long, so I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, yeah.
But so the first half was the flashbacks and the heist on the palace, and then the second half was like, was kinda like The Godfather.
Yeah.
Like, we had that Godfather scene,
Mhm.
and then they had that dinner scene where nice power play by Boba,
Yeah.
having them all eat over the Rancor pit and feeding
Mhm.
the Rancor in the process. That was very smart.
Yeah, that was smart. Because that was the one thing they always said, like, they didn't fear him, now they fear him.
And now he at least, even though we don't know if the Rancor trainer is loyal to Boba, at least now he has, now he has a way to flex the muscle a little more, and he's recruited excuse me, he's recruited Chrysanthemum, the
Mhm.
Wookiee, so now he's working for him.
Yeah.
So that was a good scene.
Mhm. And we
We got a
knew
little more
oh, and
Jennifer Beals too.
yeah, and we finally know who's running the band.
Max Rebo.
Max Rebo.
That's the first time. I think that's the first time anyone has actually said Max Rebo on
Yeah,
screen.
it is.
Because we know the character is Max Rebo, but no one's actually ever said Max
Mhm.
Rebo in Star Wars, right? I
Yeah,
think this is the first
never
time.
said. It was always
Okay,
on
so
the toys and everything else, but nobody's
right,
ever said.
and the music albums and everything. But
Mhm,
yeah, so it's like
yeah,
I liked that she actually said "Hit it, Max" or
mhm,
something
yeah,
like that. So I'm looking
mhm,
up the cast list. So okay. So Robert Rodriguez was back again this week as Doc
mhm,
Strassi, one of the Trandoshan bosses, during the dinner scene. Phil Lamar was the Klaatu boss. I don't know. You see, Phil Lamar, I don't know if that was definitely his voice, but I don't know if he was in the costume there.
yeah,
Barry Lowen was Garfa Lacroix, the Gamorrean guards once again. UFC Hall of Famer Frank Trigg, Colin
mhm,
Himes, Bib Fortuna, I guess for the flashback was Matthew Wood. Let's see who else. So we got stunt doubles. Eod El Batar was the stunt double for Boba Fett. Ming Ku Q was a
mhm,
stunt double for Fennec. Nothing else too I'm just looking I'm looking if there's an episode title here. When does the episode title come up? Do you remember?
Right after they say the book will show the title card.
Okay, that's here we go. This is what I'm looking for. So it's at the beginning, correct?
Yes.
Because
Mhm.
I always want to find the name of the titles, and because they don't list it. Here we go. The Gathering Storm.
Mhm.
So the Gathering Storm. So they are definitely gearing up to an all-out gang war. So Boba Fett, he's building his power base. He's building his allies. He's got a Rancor. He's got Fennec. He's got the mods, and now he has Chrysanthemum, all in his employ. And he thinks at least he's got the other crime lords local to Tatooine off of his back. So
Mhm.
let me fight the battles myself. Don't interfere. Remain neutral, and then we'll talk about working together. So
Yeah.
I don't know if he can trust all of them, but still, the dinner scene where he's like, oh, he's feeding the Rancor and he's like tame the Rancor. That was really good. So that was
Yeah,
at
it
least
was.
smart. It was a smart flex on his part.
Mhm.
But I'm liking. I think the progression is good, and I
Mhm.
feel like this season I think started slow, but I think it's gradually picked up, and I
Yeah.
think this was definitely among the better episodes.
Yeah. And now it makes sense.
Hmm.
The past 3 episodes and all the flashbacks and everything, now they make sense to me.
Because it correlates with the the
Yeah.
Bacta tank healing
Mhm.
process because
And
he's
it
still
kind of what his mentality is and
yes.
what he was learning during this time.
But now that you mention it, now that he's completed the Bacta healing,
Mhm.
I can see like that we wouldn't necessarily see unless there's like a period where he gets hurt or injured where he maybe like blacks out and maybe he's thinking back to Geonosis or something. So, but we'll see.
Yeah, I agree.
But I like that. I like that they're continue. Who you know what Chrysanthemum, you know who the performer reminds me of?
Who?
Carrie Jones, I believe is his name. Performance of Carrie Jones as Chrysanthemum reminds me of Kevin Peter Hall. And you know who Kevin Peter Hall is?
No.
He was the original suit actor for the Predator in the first 2 Predator films.
Oh, okay. I don't
And
know who you're talking about now.
and and here's and the other movie he did,
Mhm.
Harry and the Hendersons, the original.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure. Like, yeah, he was Harry in Harry and the Hendersons. And my main point is just kind of like giving us this fully developed character where it's all in the body language, like it's all in the body language in the physical movement where
Mhm.
he truly embodies that character.
Hmm.
And I really think he's really like you really just when you look at Chrysanthemum on screen, you can understand exactly how he's thinking and feeling
Mhm.
just from his physical movements because he has
Yeah,
no lines.
yeah.
And Kevin Peter Hall was great at that because he did a lot of those kind of like suit roles where it's all in the movement. It's all in the
Mhm.
physical movement and the physical performance. And
Right.
that was sort of his specialty as an actor with the Predator films with Harry and the
Mhm.
Hendersons. And I wonder if that's who Carrie Jones is sort of basing any of his style off of. But that's just kind of the vibe I got from Chrysanthemum in this episode. He reminded me of the Predator, the original Predator from the films, and Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah.
Even though he's playing a Wookiee.
But the role is so good though. He's actually
No,
playing it
he's
very
great.
well.
He's great because you get all the emotions and the attitude just from
Mhm.
just from his physical body language.
Yeah.
It's a great performance.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts from you this week? Anything about Ming-Na Wen,
I think,
Tamora Morrison, the heists, any of it?
to be honest, no, not at all. I think this is one of the most complete episodes for sure.
This
It
did
kind of
feel like
really,
this did feel like a complete episode,
yeah.
right?
It doesn't feel
In
like you're
ways
getting
the
left
first
out.
one didn't. Like, I would give this episode a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I
I feel
agree.
like it was the best episode so far this
I
season.
agree because it really tied everything up. And now I have a feeling the next 3 episodes are all gonna be about they're gonna show the future and the present, I mean, I should say.
Oh, you know what? This also almost felt like a standalone episode too.
Mhm. Yeah.
Even though it's continuing the story, I like that it kind of had a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it was almost kind of like a mini movie. It was good pacing.
Mhm.
We got a good action. We got a couple good action scenes between the Sarlacc fight, escaping Jabba's palace with the ship.
Yeah.
So all the action was really good. I had a lot of fun this week, and I think where Hawkeye just kind of like got confusing, and I think had a lot of hits and misses. I feel this show is way more consistent so far.
Same here, same here. I think it made us it the reason why they're doing it makes sense now.
But
I
yes, this is the standard length.
Mhm.
If there were a standard length, this is the ideal length I would want
Mhm.
for each episode,
Yeah.
if not
Exactly.
longer. I think this is the ideal length for the show.
Mhm.
Any thoughts on the Moon Knight trailer? Did you see the Moon Knight trailer yet?
I did see the Moon Knight trailer. I'm interested to see what it's about.
Okay.
It's because it's a character I'm not familiar with.
It's a more obscure Marvel character.
Yeah, but it looked more violent than what we've seen in the past.
So that'll be the next
Mhm.
Disney Plus show premiering March 30th.
Yeah,
Rishi Bhakta. You can hear Mando's theme at the end.
correct.
Um
You can.
where in the credits or the end
As
of the
soon
episode?
as they're pulling back from the palace with Boba Fett and, Fennec,
Mhm.
you can hear the theme, and you hear it in another scene as well. You could hear parts of the Mando's theme in there as well. But that was the last shot where they're showing where Boba Fett and Fennec are on looking over, and
Mhm.
they pull away from the palace. You could hear Mando's theme.
I feel like we could hear a bit of it right before he finds
Mhm.
Fennec too.
Yeah,
Like, because that was the part where it kind of like intersects with the Mandalorian episode
yeah,
from the first season.
yeah.
So, oh wait, does this mean Fennec is going to try and recruit Din Djarin, the Mandalorian?
Possibly, but when he starts talking about getting muscle, is what Rishi is pointing out.
So I'm just trying to think if they were going to try to recruit Din Djarin, and if
Mhm,
that music cue was meant to hint at the Mandalorian and getting muscle, like
mhm.
what do you think Boba could offer the Mandalorian? A ship.
Maybe a ship.
He
Yeah,
doesn't have a ship because
yeah.
he
We
lost
are
the Razor
talking
Crest.
present, so possibly.
Rishi Bhakta, when he starts talking about getting muscle, that's a good catch, Bhakta. Thanks. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but thanks for
Mhm.
sharing that. So,
Yeah,
Rishi, if you have any other thoughts on the
mhm.
episode this week, please
Yeah,
feel
that
free.
may and I may you may be right that that's how for, season 3 is that it's gonna be him getting a ship, and that's how
Um, one of the droids in Jabba's palace was like the one from Return of the Jedi, EV. I think it was called
Mhm,
EV-DV9 Star Wars. Trying to look up this character. EV-99. So it looked like this. So the one who was in the kitchen in
mhm,
Jabba's palace, it looked like that was the one who put R2 on the sail barge and then C3PO in Jabba's throne room. Remember?
yeah,
Like he said, R2, you're a feisty little one, but you'll soon learn some respect.
mhm,
got knocked out. I'm trying to look at the voice because the voice sounded the same.
Yeah. I'm gonna read this from Derpy Gaming. OG fans gonna be pissed. Gonna be pissed. The fact they acknowledge the ship's name change, it really means they don't care what Lucas built at all. Did they mention the ship's name change?
All they did was he said I want you to help take back my fire. He called it a fire spray gunship. To me, that's just a generic name.
Yeah.
They didn't say Slave One out loud.
Yeah.
Um,
Was it ever called what would they in any of the films did they ever mention the name of the ship?
out loud, not that I recall. They
Yeah.
might have. I
I
don't want to
don't remember.
say,
I
but
know
it
it
was
was in the
always
toys.
it was always called the Slave One on the toys, on
Mhm.
the merchandise. That's
Yeah.
what it was always called.
Yeah.
Now, in the audio, in the spoken audio for Mandalorian, they called it the Slave One. So let's see.
Yeah.
Here, I'll go find it right now.
There you go.
Oh, let's see. Season 2.
Mhm.
Where was the episode where it showed up?
I
The tragedy. Here we go.
Yeah.
So just give me a second.
Okay. We're gonna look, and we're for everybody who's watching, we're gonna look and justify, see if they even called it the Slave One. This one they didn't. I don't think they mentioned the name of the ship in this episode, but try to see if in the Mandalorian they did call it Slave One. Since that whole Disney thing. Even though it doesn't bother me, but to be honest, if you're a Star Wars fan and you grew up with the original names, it's Slave One, and it's going to be passed on to generation that way. And no matter if Disney stops calling it that, fans will always call it Slave One. Hold on, really quick. We can't hear Jeffrey right now.
Okay, so that was
Okay, go.
in the English audio description, they said Boba Fett ship.
Hmm.
Um, I think they're just going to not say Slave One, but it's the Slave One.
Yeah,
So I mean,
and see, here's the
to
thing.
me, it's like splitting. It's like you're
Yeah,
splitting hairs. You
yeah.
know, whatever.
But here's the thing, though. Generation wise, it has been passed on from generation to generation. You can't take away something that's already going to be in somebody's mindset. It takes time for it to eventually phase out. So no matter what you do, people are still going to call it that. You can't stop people from calling it what it was and what they know it as. Can't hear you again.
So I'm going to look at the audio
Yeah.
description for this
Mhm.
episode to see if they say anything. But
Yeah.
again, it's audio description for the
Mhm.
hearing impaired anyway.
Yeah. And that's why I say, like, they may say it, and that's the one thing OG fans are gonna be pissed. I don't get pissed because it's Slave One. And that's the way I knew it. That's the way I knew it growing up. If you want it to be called something else, well, you should have called it that in the first place. But it wouldn't is never called that. And that's why, like, to me, that ship will always be called. I always know it as Slave One. Everybody that I know will know it as Slave One. And I'm pretty sure their kids and now their kids are still calling it that.
Okay, so in the audio description, they're just calling it Boba's ship.
Mhm.
But I haven't checked the other Mandalorian episodes where it appears.
Mhm.
I think we're just splitting hairs
Yeah,
here on the name.
yeah.
The type of the ship is a fire spray gunship. The name of
Mhm.
the ship is not the fire spray.
Yeah.
Fire spray gunship is its classification.
Mhm.
Like the Millennium Falcon, the name is the Millennium Falcon, but the classification is what? Like a Corellian
Corellian cruiser?
freighter.
or
whatever,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
That's what we're arguing about here.
Mhm,
So if you really want to die on this hill, like Disney ruining or censoring Star
mhm,
Wars, it's like ugh. It's
yeah.
like I just don't have the energy for that.
Mhm,
Derpy, if that upsets you, I'm sorry. I think if you're really gonna get ticked off about that, to me, it's
mhm.
silly. You know,
And that's
like
why I say, and that's why I say, what's the point of getting mad at about it? Because generations from generation has already passed that along.
right.
A company, it could take it away from their boxes. It isn't going to change it immediately until there's a generation to.
This episode, we got to see Boba Fett fight the Sarlacc pit.
Mhm,
Are you really gonna like get hung up on fire spray gunship Slave One?
mhm.
Who
Exactly.
cares?
I especially enjoyed Payback for the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah,
So there you go.
I didn't think he was gonna go back to it. He didn't realize he didn't even realize the Jawas jacked his armor. He
Nope.
must have been he was gone, man. The
Yeah.
Jawa dude, the Jawas jacked your armor, dude.
Well, that
they stole it and left you there, man. They did not care.
the Sarlacc pit
It's like, oh,
acids
this
from the
guy's
sun.
still alive. He's vulnerable. Let's take his armor and go. And they just jacked your stuff, man, and they
Exactly.
left you there. And he thinks it's still in the Sarlacc's guts. Boba Fett he has not gotten any smarter over the years.
Yeah, and Fennec pretty much pointed it out, like, you need to get into a bacta tank because of the acids in the from the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah.
And then there you go. And
All
that's
right.
why
Corellian. The Falcon is a Corellian light freighter.
yeah.
The Slave One is a fire spray gunship.
Mhm.
That's what it is. So
Yeah, exactly.
Disney is censoring Star Wars, Mike. We can't use the word slave anymore.
I'm still gonna use it.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
It's like, come
It's
on.
the Slave One.
You
It's
can't
the Slave
yeah,
One.
yeah,
It's
you
the same
cannot
ship. It's
that's
the
my
same ship.
exactly. It's my childhood. That's what it was called. That's what we're gonna call it. There you go.
That's the toy I had from
Mhm.
Kenner.
Exactly.
That's what I always knew it as on the box. It was always
Mhm.
called the Slave One.
Exactly.
So
So,
it
anything else to round it up?
I had a great time this week, and I
Yeah,
just hope I
yeah.
want so we've got like a gang war coming. So I
Mhm.
hope they can now that I feel like we've gotten to like a really like strong sort of like homeostasis. I hope they can continue progressing, raising the stakes, and stick the landing for the next 3
Yeah,
episodes.
me too. I'm hoping that's what occurs, but 9 out of 10 for me on this episode as well. I liked it very much, and I'm looking forward I'm gonna see it again because I need to see what I've missed,
Yep, yep.
and relax and watch it, but, hey, where can everybody find you?
Okay, so if you wanna follow me on Twitter, my Twitter is at Wheeljack83. My movie reviews and interviews are at 411mania.com, so you can check those out.
Mhm.
My wrestling interviews podcast is the 411 Wrestling Interviews Podcast. You can find that on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify, and the 411 Mania YouTube channel. So please check that out if you have the time. But thank you for joining us tonight. I hope everyone's staying safe and everyone is doing well for this new year.
Exactly, and you know where you can find me here on MUSE TV. We have some great interviews coming up within next week, the next 2 weeks. There's gonna be some great interviews coming up to Muse. Also, the Muse Network, Muse by Muse, will be coming out either next week or the week after. We're trying to see we're final playing with that. We have a new show, Hey Han, which is coming onto the Roku and Amazon network. It will also be on Amazon Prime. And one more thing, the shows from the network are not going to be originally. They're only going to be on Roku and Amazon Fire Stick, and Amazon Prime. That has now changed. We're going to put them up on everything. Since we're not charging for the network or anything like that, you get to watch it in the convenience and the way you would like to watch it, and we want to bring that to you. So if you're going to be able to see it on everything from Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, Amazon Prime, YouTube, and we're expanding that. So stay tuned. We're going to be announcing when those shows are going to launch. And don't forget, next week We return here on Tuesday, 11:30 p.m. Be a part of the conversation for the Book of Boba Fett. Next week is Chapter 5. So we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.